Hi, Martin.
Hi, Debbie.
I can't tell you what a privilege and joy it is to speak with you this morning.
Oh, well, same here.
I have been such an admirer of your work for so long, and to see what you have done here with Memory is just outstanding.
I'm glad you liked it.
What I particularly love about this film is, and the fact that Liam is also embracing this with the roles he's taking, he is mature. He's now of a mature age where he knows he's not 30 anymore. And the characters are now reflecting that. So that now, in addition to slowing down, but still having to rely on your wits, to now bring in this Alzheimer's idea, dementia, losing your mental acuity, is so beautifully brought to life here. And I can't compliment you and David Tattersall, who is a god, as well as your editor, as Joe Francis, in really hammering that home, holding on moments, letting us process the confusion, but still the moral compass that this man has, even though he's not quite sure what's happening. And you never lose sight of that, but still keep us honed in on action. It's just so beautifully executed, Martin.
Oh, good. I'm honestly glad that you liked it.
What were your biggest considerations in bringing Dario's script to the screen? Because there are other film versions of this story.
Indeed, there are. No, there's one. It's actually based on a novel, but the first film was a Belgian film, very good film, very well acted, well directed, and I saw it in 2013, and I saw it on DVD. I managed to get the rights in 2016 or 17, got a script written, sent it to Liam, and because he said he would do it, we got the film set up. But it really was, I couldn't get the rights for 3 years or 4 years, so we finally did, and here we are.
I think you're the perfect person to make this film. After what you've done with Mel Gibson in Edge of Darkness, what you did with The Protege, and then you're just a master with action. So you really bring maturity and action all together here in a beautiful way.
Oh, good.
Once you had this script in hand, what was your approach to developing this and the visual grammar to aid in this storytelling and retain that human essence that we needed to see in the character of Alex Lewis?
Well, the thing was we had to plot the Alzheimer's thing without making it kind of melodramatic.
Right.
That was the first thing. And I spoke to an expert, a doctor who deals with this problem. I also did a lot of research looking at it. I then went through the script, and we've only got 110 minutes really to develop the arc as far as Alzheimer's is concerned. Mm-hmm. Of course, in real life, it takes years. So I plotted it all out on each scene that needed. It started off, as you know, with the opening scene where he forgets his key, or forgets where he put his key, and it finally ends up where the Alzheimer's is very advanced, and he's struggling to remember anything. So I sort of plotted that right the way through as to what scenes we illustrate this. And Liam himself had worked on it, and between us we managed to, that's what we came up with, is what you see in the movie. And of course there's the whole thing about you have Liam, who is, his profession is, it's pretty horrible. I mean, he's a hitman for money. So he's a pretty dark character, and of course he, if you will, redeems himself or wants to redeem himself, and by not targeting the girl, and in teaming up with Guy Pearce's character in order to see justice served, it makes him quite a complex character, basically, and that's what to me is so interesting.
Alex Lewis is a very complex character, and I particularly love the fact, and this is the humanity and this is the empathy that you get with the character, because he does have a line in the sand. He has a moral code that he will not cross. And no matter what he may be forgetting, that he remembers, no matter what. That is so ingrained in him. We never lose sight of that, Martin. That is such a strong suit of this film. That's a driving force.
And look, you need a Liam Neeson to carry that off.
Yes.
You need an actor, his skill and ability to be able to do it, and you also need a Guy Pearce to contrast that, if you know what I mean, as the cop. He's a wonderful actor,
And of course then, Harold Torres, this would not work without his character of Hugo.
Exactly. They all have a subtext. There's all, they've all seen tragedy in their life. Harold does, obviously. Liam has. There's that rather wonderful scene he plays with his brother when he goes, and what he's looking into the mirror, really. That's how he's going to end up.
And we don't realize that until later on, because it's one thing you lose your key. We all forget where we put our keys.
Exactly. I'm doing it every day, for Christ's sake. I must be on the way out.
Hey, when you're in school, you're writing cheat sheets on your arm underneath your sleeve, so everybody can relate to this. How did you and David go about crafting the visual grammar here? Because what is so key, you've got some incredible angles, some great dutching, some where they really hone in on the anguish that we see on Alex's face at times. Or when we're down on the ground and he's in the thick of action, still that eye level on the concrete floor. Or we're up and you're giving us great, almost fly on the wall shots. And all of this aids and propels not only the story, but the idea of the Alzheimer's, of the dementia. So I'm curious about how you and David developed the visual grammar and construct from a camera standpoint, and bringing in the action, but keeping it at a distance so we can really see and appreciate the guy still has game.
Yeah, it's difficult for me to explain. I think about it a lot. I plan very carefully and so forth. But the visual aspect of it is just, I work that out very carefully. I pre-plan all my shots, the way I'm going to shoot it. Hopefully, it's in tandem with the scene. I can't quite explain sort of how I go about it, other than sort of doing. I think about it a lot. I go on the location to plan all my work. And the process. I guess visually, if you look at my script, I have every shot written down for the scene. It's all planned very carefully and thought about, and that's the result. I can't really explain the sort of why or how I kind of arrive at it. It's just, I guess, instinctive.
Well, your instincts have served you well for many a year, Martin, and they're still serving you well. It's evident here with memory, because you also incorporate some beautiful lighting and a color palette.
Well, David Tattersall is terrific, and a lot of it is the look of it is down to him, because he's wonderful. He's a perfect DP for me to work with. We get on very well together. He's done I've done 4 movies. This is my 4th with him. So, and he'll do the next.
Well, and of course he knows how to light and lends Liam to his best advantage as well, because he shot him before.
Yeah. And Liam has no vanity at all.
I know.
He just, Liam does what he's got to do, and he's never asking you about his key light or, this or that. I always ask actors what's their best angle, always. And if I can incorporate that, obviously I do. But with Liam, it's all about the acting.
How difficult was it putting this cast together? Because it is such a careful balancing act of who can fill these personalities, such as Guy as Vince Serra and Harold as Hugo, and even Ray Stevenson as Detective Mora. There's a lot of ambiguity in Ray's character, and you really wonder as this story develops, what side of the fence he's on. And then, of course, Monica Bellucci. I mean, it's just beautifully cast. So I'm curious, was it difficult to put this group together so that you've got the complement and contrast that you needed for this story?
Yeah, look, all you can do with this is with just actors that you think are right. Well, obviously Liam, it goes without saying. Guy is an actor I've loved. He's never said a line that I haven't believed, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Terrific actor. That goes way back to obviously Memento, but LA Confidential, terrific. I was in very safe hands with those two. Monica just brings, what's the word, pizzazz to a part that could be a little bit dull without someone like her. But what she brings into it is, it's not a big part sort of on screen. It's not that big, but it's, she just brings a kind of pizzazz to the whole thing that without her would probably be not nearly as interesting, and those sort of parts, it's great to cast somebody, I think, a little bit left field like Monica. And by the way, the original was a man, it wasn't a woman. I decided to cast it as a woman because I thought the relationship with her son worked much better with it being a woman rather than a man.
I've got to ask you, at this stage of your career, with all the different films that you've done, is there anything out there that you still want to tackle, that you still think would be a great challenge to you?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not, Debbie. The thing is, I can't think, it's a question I get asked quite often is, is there the one project that you really, no, is the answer to that. I'm a great believer in, I obviously get sent scripts, there are projects I'm developing and so forth, but it's just simply instinct. I like this particular script, I think it's interesting, I like the story. Story and character, of course, are the two main things, and that's that. I don't have any, ambitions to do some, and those that do have that film that they really want to make, inevitably screw them up. You think of John Huston in Under the Volcano, Steven Spielberg in Hook, perhaps, is not his best work. And there are many cases of that, the people, One from the Heart with Coppola, you know what I mean? So the answer to that is no.
Well, I can't wait to see what you bring me next, because I will watch anything that you direct, Martin. You always bring something new, something different. It's always entertaining, and you always manage to find the humanity and the connective tissue in the characters.
That's great, Debbie. Well, thank you very much for that.
Oh, Martin, thank you so much for taking time to talk with me today, and I hope we get a chance to do it again in the future.
We will, and it's a great pleasure.
Thank you, Martin. Bye-bye.